Now it's on. Okay, now be patient with me. I'm getting it. Can we see
Live
everybody?
stream has ended. What?
Yeah, we can see everybody. Okay. And get my microphone picked up off the ground.
Okay.
And now I got to find them on my cell phone.
Live.
Yeah, I've got a new idea for a series I'm doing, and I'm going
Okay.
to test you out first after all this is over. Whoops. These are my notes. Let me.
Notes? What do you think? With a brain like yours, what do you need notes
My
for?
brain is vastly shriveling up.
So I see.
My brain is vastly shriveling up.
Hello to both of you.
Okay, I think we're here,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Did everybody follow us over here?
I've
I
seen,
think they
it's
did.
21 right now, I
Okay.
think.
Well, let's wait a little bit before we start too many questions here. It should get up to upwards of 200 or so.
Right.
Should. I can't guarantee that because this is that time of year where a lot of people are traveling
Oh,
to come down here.
a lot of people.
And as they travel, they don't pay no attention to me. Even though a friend of mine that was on a cruise last week said he was sitting in the hot tub drinking a margarita. He had Wi-Fi on the cruise ship, and he watched my show last Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah, he said, so there, I guess everybody in the hot tub gathered around his phone and was watching. I can just imagine what they were saying. Who's that idiot?
Oh, he's off again.
I know it. They're always gone. See, they're
Wow,
new.
Sue looks sick.
Yeah, new people are gone all the time. That's all they do. In, out, in, out. You know where they're going? Let me tell you. I'll guess. Lunch.
Oh,
Got to try a new restaurant. Oh, everybody. Sue's not going to be here today. So if you guys are here to talk to Sue, you might as well go have a drink somewhere because she's not going to be here today. Her and part of the W&L crew went on some kind of a bus trip. I don't know what it was. She came in last week, no, yesterday, and she says, "Do you need me tomorrow?" And I said, "I don't know why." She said, "Well, because about this bus trip, and I don't know where they went or anything. I don't really care." And I said, "Nah, go ahead. I'm fine." I said, "The Medicare expert will be here, and we'll take care of it." So Craig is taking Sue's place.
big shoes to fill.
Well,
Big shoes to
I'll tell her that you said she had big feet.
fill. Yeah. Then I won't be welcome back.
Anybody's got Medicare questions, Florida insurance questions. That's what he's here for, to answer some. We're doing it actually a little bit late than we normally would do this. Normally we would do a Medicare show of some kind. Usually it's on the computer and we do it live. But with everybody being scattered around, Linda's in California, Judy has Wi-Fi issues down there where she's at. And he's busy running all over all the time, and I can't never get a hold of him in his office. And you're really not in the office all that much, are you? You're always out at appointments, and
There's my office right there.
that's what I thought.
That's my
So
car.
we just felt like he's running around anyway. That if we could work it out, and he sent me an email and said today was the day, and so today is the day.
Today's the day.
That's how that worked out.
Yep. Yep. Beautiful day in the villages. Definitely.
One question I did get from Sam. That's all I can remember. His name is Sam. I don't remember exactly. I said, send me emails, and Sam didn't send me an email. He put a comment on the video. By the way, comments are not emails, Sam, just so you know. One was asking about eyes and what else was it? I told you a while ago. Eyes and teeth. So he wants to know about dentistry, I guess, dentist bills, and I'm going to assume eyes like glasses, maybe cataract surgeries or things like that.
Okay. So just remember, just kind of follow the path, so to speak, that decision-making tree that you have when you sign up for Medicare. It all starts with signing up for Part A and Part B. Now, that is issued by Medicare. And just to confuse the issue, you do your enrollment through Social Security. So that's something that once you get your A and your B, parts A and B, then the fork in the road, proverbial fork in the road happens. You can go to a Medicare supplement or you can go to a Medicare Advantage. Let me talk about the supplement real quickly because that kind of has less moving parts. And I'm going to stay on track. I'm still going to cover the vision and the dental as far as that goes. So when you sign up for a Medicare supplement plan, it's also called a paid in advance. You're going to actually have a premium that you're going to have to pay every month, whether you use it or not. The advantage to that is everything is covered. Okay, so let me just use a Plan G, which is the Cadillac of all plans. It has a $226 deductible, which isn't a whole lot when you think about medical costs. So what happens there is once you pay that $226, everything is covered. Now, you got to have an asterisk by everything. Everything in the health medical world is covered, with the exception, okay, of prescription drugs, vision, dental, and hearing. Okay, so if you are looking for dental, hearing, or vision, you have to go out and get a standalone plan. Now, some of the supplements are starting to offer those, but they are very, very lean benefits. A lot of them are just preventative. So be careful if you're going that route. Part D, which is drug plans, is a necessity as well, whether you're on drugs or not. The reason being is if you don't sign up for A, B, D, and the supplement, you're going to be penalized when you do sign up. Okay, so supplements, very shallow in regards to the dental, vision, and hearing options or benefits. Now let's flip over real quick over to this side, Medicare Advantage. Medicare Advantage is the one you see on TV, all the commercials. Your mailboxes are probably overstuffed this time of year. Medicare Advantage is a zero premium, so it's a pay as you go. Remember I said supplement is pay in advance? Pay as you go is the Medicare Advantage plan. There is no obligation for you to pay anything unless you use it. So if you go to the doctor, specialist, primary care, labs, inpatient hospital, etc., you're going to have a copay or a fixed price that you're going to have to pay for every visit you make. Now, on those plans, they're a little bit more generous with the dental, vision, and hearing. And I would say their strongest suit is in the hearing aspect of it, especially with hearing aids. But let's talk about Sam for just a minute. So he talked about dentistry, and I'm going to delineate between preventative and comprehensive. Preventative is getting your teeth cleaned twice a year, getting x-rays, having the dentist or his assistant look at your mouth for a complete comprehensive oral exam. Now, anything above that is considered comprehensive. So if you have to have an extraction, if you have to get dentures, things of that nature, bridges, crowns, things of that nature, then that becomes comprehensive. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are strong in that area. They are in preventative, but when it comes to the extra, you really need to look at a standalone plan to take care of your needs. And I would suggest getting the plan when you need it, not necessarily in advance of the treatment 1, 2, 3 years down the road. Okay, let's talk about eye real quick. The eye exam, the annual eye exam, is included in all of the Medicare Advantage plans, as are allowances for contact lenses, frames and lenses, things of that now. The key part there is allowance. They will give you a certain amount of money that you can spend that they will cover. Anything above that is on you. I pretty much think it's a wash in using your Medicare Advantage plan versus either an ophthalmologist or optometrist, one of your eye clinics around town that will give you a free eye exam, and they will also give you some sort of deal, promotion, things that they have going on. So I would look at both of those. I would look at looking at your benefit from insurance and not. Now, what happens beyond that? What if I've got glaucoma? What if I need cataracts? Something of that nature. A retina gets detached. That becomes a health issue. Even though it has to do with your eyes and vision, it's a health issue. It goes right under your health plan. So that would be a specialist, typically an ophthalmologist. So, in short, preventative on the Medicare Advantage, very strong on the hearing. A supplement is going to be very lean depending on the company that you go with. And that is something, again, that a licensed broker like myself or thousands of others in this area can show you. Our job is to listen to what you need and find the solution. Long-winded. Sorry.
So is copays different on different plans for, like, say, dental work?
Mm-hmm. So copays will be different on just about, well, from plan to plan, even company to company, because you got to remember, a company has multiple plans. So now you're looking at, typically when I run a proposal for somebody in this area, there's 57 plans available. Now, that's a lot to sort out on your own. But each plan, like to answer Skip's question, could have and usually does have its own copay. Now, the trend lately has been for primary care visits to be zero across the board. So in other words, there's no competitive advantage anymore for a plan having a zero copay for primary care visits because now everybody's doing it. Okay? Soon, who knows, in the future, maybe specialists will be zero. But there's a lot of things like that from plan to plan, copays are one of the differences that you'll look at.
Is there a limit to how much they'll pay? Like, say, if you go in, say, for dental work, I know because I've had some dental work done, and most of that I had to pay out of my pocket.
Right.
And I have Medicare Advantage, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
Especially if you get, and the dentists today are pushing this a lot. I don't know if it's because it's easier or because it's more profitable, but instead of like getting dentures or permanent bridges put in or whatever, and I've got both, now it's all about implants. Okay. And implants, you see the commercials, they say, it's not as expensive as you think it is. Well, yes, it is. I mean, these down here, I don't want to tell you, these down here are implants.
Right.
And I've got 10 grand.
Yeah.
And that was done 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know what it costs today.
Yeah. So implants, just to focus on the dental, implants are, yes, they are the most expensive procedure that you'll get done with regards to your mouth. Unfortunately, the insurance companies, as far as Medicare Advantage and supplements and Medicare, for that matter, if you just decide to keep Medicare, don't cover implants. Or if they do, there's going to be a limitation on, and it's going to be very small compared to the larger bill. That's where you would consider, upon the need to have implants, looking at some standalone dental plans that may help you with the cost of those. But let's go back to maximum.
Are those dental plans worth a crap? I hear everybody tells me. Okay. Everybody tells me those dental plans ain't worth nothing.
It's like anything else. If you're going to use it, it could be. But that's why I stress the fact that don't get one until you need it. And some people out there are probably going to go, well, wait a minute. I got a dental plan one time after my dentist told me we needed to do this, they give you a laundry list. The first thing they do when you leave a dentist is they sign you up for the next appointment. And then the next thing they do is they give you your bill or take care of your services. And then the third thing they do is they give you a printout, a specific printout of all the things you need to have done. And we can do that next time, and we can talk about that sort of thing. So what I'm saying is don't get a dental plan until you need it. And there are plans out there that will literally allow you to be enrolled in the dental chair. No waiting. Some of them make you wait 6 months to have a procedure done. No,
Sue had to wait 6 months.
Those are the ones that are not preferable. Let me just be nice about it. But if you have a situation coming up that you are
You realize
aware
you're
of,
on my show, right? You don't have to be nice about anything around here.
that's right. But let's get back to that maximum out of pocket.
Sorry, I butted in.
So, although Skip mentioned dentistry, which is probably the worst example of a maximum out of pocket, you're going to be limited on dental benefits with Medicare Advantage or a standalone. There's going to be some limitation there, okay? But let's talk about overall health and what you do, your treatments, your visits, your procedures, things of that nature. There is a maximum out of pocket limit or ceiling, like I like to call it, that you can experience when you have a Medicare Advantage plan. One of the most popular plans, and I'm not plan specific on this show, but in general, they range from about $3,800 to about $5,700. So, in other words, if the accumulation, if you had a bucket right now and you just started throwing in the dollars that you're spending on, hey, I went to my primary care today, I've got a specialist visit next week, and then 2 after that. And by the way, that primary care wants labs, and this one wants x-rays. So you're paying all these copays in out of pocket. It cannot go above how big that bucket or that jar is. In the one case, as I mentioned, 3,800 is the limit. So once you've hit 3,800 out of pocket, everything else is covered. Okay. Now it does take a while to get there. Okay. That sometimes people go, wow, that's kind of a lot of money that I have to be on the hook for. But remember, most of those out of pocket expenditure situations, when they start reaching that ceiling, involve usually an in hospital admission of some sort during the year, probably about 4 days worth. Okay, so maximum out of pocket, you've got all these copays, no premium on Medicare Advantage. Once it hits that level and starts kind of flowing over, you don't have to pay anything more. The clock starts on January 1st of every year and ends on December 31st. So that's your maximum. That's kind of your exposure to your healthcare costs. So you could have a $200,000 quadruple bypass surgery, and while they were there, they did a kidney replacement or whatever, and it would cost you $3,800. Literally, that's what that means.
Oh, Joey wants to know if there's any dental plans with no cap.
With no cap. Usually, there is, but I guess it's the company's way around it. A lot of these standalone plans will charge you a minimal amount of a premium per month. I'm going to say like under $20. And then they will have a list of every American Dental Association, ADA, code. So when a dentist or his assistant or hygienist codes the procedure for reimbursement, these companies have every listed procedure, and there's a copay for that. Where you get into a cap is on some of these Medicare Advantage plans. They'll say, hey, we will pay for $1,000 or $1,500 or $2,000 worth of your needs. The ones that don't have a cap, for the most part, are those standalone plans. But what you're doing is you're getting a reduced price based on a schedule of what you're going to get done. And much like most insurance, which you have to be careful of, is that particular dental professional needs to be in that company's provider network. Okay, so there's a couple things when you're faced with like a major or medium-sized dental procedure that needs to be done. Is first of all, is that particular dentist in the network, and is it worth it for you to go ahead and get this insurance based on what their list price is and what the insurance is going to allow you to get it for? The other thing you might want to consider too, and again, this is just kind of a rule of thumb for some people, is second opinions. Now, you may have a great relationship, a long-standing relationship with your doctor and your dentist and everybody else, but a lot of people have moved in here fairly recently when you think about it, and they don't have a medical team in place. So don't feel as if you are putting that professional out, or that you're not trusting them, or things like that, in getting a second opinion, especially on a larger procedure like dental.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You want me to wave the flag when
No,
I'm
I'm
done?
just answering some questions here. I just make a little comment, letting people know that sitting out here, it's hot. I don't know what the temperature is, but I'm sitting in direct sun over here, which I'm not supposed to be, but I am. I'm kind of huddled in here in the shade. But if I had to take a guess, what would you think a temperature would be? High 80s?
Yeah,
Maybe 90?
I think high 80s is
High
good.
80s?
Yeah, I'm in the shade. He's sitting in the sun. So,
Yeah. So,
hey, John Romanek has a question here. It's a good question too.
what kind of cookies am I eating?
No, no, no,
Oh,
no, no, no. He's on topic. Okay, he says, "What is my coverage if I have an Advantage plan out of state and have an emergency and have to be hospitalized generally?" Great question. Great question.
is it a great question?
It is. It's awesome because people travel. I
Well, then,
mean,
basically, if that's the great question, every question after this is just going to be so-so.
it could be the greatest question from here. This is just a great question. Okay, so John, you go visit somewhere, okay, and you could get the flu, you could break your toe, you could, just about anything. And every Medicare Advantage plan, again, I'm talking Advantage because that's what you have. Every Medicare Advantage has to cover emergency treatment. Now, that could be an emergency room or an urgent care center. However, it sounds like you went to the emergency room and you broke your leg, maybe, and they're going to hospitalize you. Maybe you had to have surgery, get some pins put in. Well, the minute you went from the ER into that particular facility's ortho wing or whatever, now your insurance has to be able to cover that or you're out of pocket. Now, how do you prevent that from happening? Usually the way that you can prevent that is in getting what they call a Medicare Advantage PPO. Now, all a PPO does is it expands the provider network throughout the country. Now, you still have to have a provider who accepts your insurance company, but it's not, oh, nobody come in, you just cross the state line, state of Florida, we're not going to cover you. That's typically an HMO. HMO is a limited area. I'm going to say the state of Florida for the most part with Medicare Advantage plans. A PPO will allow you to extend that coverage throughout the country. Now, that emergency room you went to, again, as you will be covered for your emergency room visit, make sure that if you're going to have surgery and it's not life-threatening, that you ask and see if your insurance is accepted. And if it's not accepted there, find the closest treatment facility you can. One last item on that. If, let's just say, your insurance company was accepted at the emergency room and at the hospital, they will not charge you for the emergency room visit if you get admitted. Again, somewhere between $90 and $200 for an emergency room visit is what most cover. Okay.
Did you read, I think it's Deanna Hallworth's statement about Medicare
Uh-oh.
being confusing?
Is this going to be the greatest or just the great?
This is pretty good.
Okay. Deanna, okay, thank you for your question, Deanna. Medicare is so confusing to me, and to throw in another complication, I'm a retired federal employee, so when it comes to that, I do not want to cancel the federal insurance because you can never go back. Excellent, excellent observation, and I'm so glad that you are aware of that, because that FEHB plan is one of the best that you can get. That's the one that the congressmen, past presidents, and senators are on, just to let you know. But that doesn't mean that you can't coordinate that FEHB, your federal plan, with an Advantage plan or a supplement or something of that nature. That's where a particular broker, an individual who is non-biased, okay, he's not representing any one particular company, would give you some insight into what are your options with the FEHB. you're already in a great spot. And yes, don't ever get rid of that. Okay. If I find out that you got rid of it, I'm not going to be happy as far as that goes. And Skip knows that I'm a pretty happy guy most of the time. So, short answer to that, it is complicated because you have a great benefit. But that doesn't mean there are not other options that you can still keep your federal insurance with.
I find a problem with a lot of the company insurance programs that are really, really good for people when they retire, and they have the option to hang on to them if they want to. Federal isn't the only one that does that. That they make it difficult for them to hang on to it because they make it cost prohibitive. It's just expensive to
Mm-hmm.
keep, and sometimes that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
If they had Medicare Advantage, they realize they got copays and blah blah blah, but then you play the gamble game of, but I may never ever use that. And
Sure.
if I did that, then I might save $500 a month from buying this over here.
Right. Well, and that's one of the reasons why I try to stay in touch with my clients, because at the age of 65 and above, let's face it, typically our health gets worse. Okay.
Really, I haven't had a sick day
Well,
in my life.
that's what you tell me all the time. I'm just listening to all your
Well,
broadcasts.
that is true. The older you get, problems pop up. I mean, I've noticed that myself. But as far as actually being sick and
Mm-hmm.
and carrying on and laying around the house and oh Lord, take me now. I can't take another day of this. I mean, no, I've never had that.
So that's where we may change a plan from one to another.
You do what Sue does. You change the subject a lot.
Well, I'm looking at Overjoyed here.
Are you afraid you're going to forget?
No,
You ought to be checked out.
I got my brain right
Maybe you
here.
get checked out for Alzheimer's. You could have
might.
something coming on here.
I might have to. Yeah.
I'll shut
So
up.
Overjoyed said, let me get her back here. A little late to change after open enrollment. Open enrollment. The system is a mess, and you're right, Overjoyed. That's why this particular time in our year is so important. Of course, the annual enrollment period started on October 15th and will run through December 7th. That'll give you an opportunity to evaluate basically anything that you're in right now. You can change. You can go back to original Medicare. You can get a supplement with some exceptions. You can change Medicare plans. You can change companies. There's a lot of different things you can do during this period. But I think you're probably talking about, okay, December 7th ends, January 1st. Either I'm going to keep my plan from the previous year, or the changes that I made during open enrollment are going to take place in January. Understood. However, and I cannot promote this, okay, just any compliance folks are listening, but you did ask in a roundabout way. If you have changed your Medicare Advantage plan during annual enrollment, there is a way for you to change during the probably at least first month, maybe 3 months of the year. So again, not a situation where day to day you can make a change, but there are provisions past December 7th in limited situations. And again, your broker, me, whoever will be able to tell you that. The other thing that.
So you're saying, let me butt in again,
Yeah.
that after open enrollment, I'll call it that.
Yep.
Everybody has the idea that after open enrollment, you're done. That's it. There's nothing you can do. You're saying there are
Mm-hmm.
examples
Mm-hmm.
that you may qualify to make a change.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So it's because of Overjoyed that I shared that with you. Now let me show you the ones that are in print. The other ways you can change your particular plan, and you may have already experienced that on your transition, your relocation here to the villages, is a move. If you move, typically county to county, you can change your plan within 60 days of moving. Some of you did that when you moved here. Another way of doing it is if there's a 5-star plan out there, you can change to that anytime you want. If you have some special needs, and these are pretty specific, like end-stage renal failure, certain cardiology symptoms and prognosis, diabetes, things like that, you can be put in what they call a special needs plan once diagnosed. Okay, so that's another thing, that as your health gets to a certain point, you may just say, well, I'm relatively unhealthy, but no, I don't have congestive heart failure. No, I don't have renal, end stage renal. No, my A1C is great and I don't have diabetes. But it's an important part that when you get diagnosed with something new, a new condition, that you let your broker or the company that you're doing business with know about that, because there could be some changes made to benefit you. Benefit you how? Well, it could benefit you in lowering your prescription drug plan. It could also benefit you from maybe not having to pay your Part B premium of Medicare. So in other words, word to the wise, if you're healthy, relatively healthy now, and don't qualify for one of those plans, but you have a change, in a negative change, an adverse change to your medical condition, run that by your broker, and find out if there's something you can do. And you can change those throughout the year. So,
Is there a Medicare plan that you would say is better than another? I mean, you got AAA that sells them. Every insurance company in the world sells it.
yeah.
So
On this venue, I try to stay away from.
How about just in Florida? In
particular
Florida,
plans.
Is there a better one? Is there a better one in Florida?
Because if I start talking about particular plans, then I would have had to register this as a.
Well, here it seems like it's an argument between two, AAA and the one I've got. What have I got? I'm in the Village of South Central. What is that?
It's
the insurance company.
This is the color.
I know it, but what's the name of it?
What state are we in?
Florida.
And what color is this?
No. The Medicare insurance. The Villages only has one.
No, they have three now, which we might want to talk about.
I thought one of them was the military one.
Well, that's a subset of one of the.
But they never used to take that. Now they do.
Now they do. Okay, so let me give you something that is it's public information. You'll be able to find it on the Villages Health website. So I'm not pushing any one of these. I'm not condoning, endorsing, recommending any of these. But I am answering Skip's question in regards to what are the plans that are prevalent here. Okay, they're prevalent because the Villages Health happens to be probably the largest primary care provider in the area. They also provide a lot of specialist stuff too. Okay, so they accept three plans. The one that they've always accepted, at least, 10 years or more, is United Healthcare. Okay, again, these are Medicare Advantage plans. United Healthcare has a plan for the general population. They also have a plan for veterans. Now, why would you have a separate plan for veterans? Where do you think veterans go to get their medications? They go to a VA clinic or hospital. And if you've ever looked at how much a veteran pays for medications through the VA, you're going to say, thank goodness we're doing something for our veterans. So they have the best of both worlds. They can go to the VA, they can go to whatever provider, and by the way, their prescription drugs are always cheaper. So what this one plan does for veterans is it doesn't have a drug plan in it. So you have one that has a drug plan, one that doesn't. And the one that doesn't is typically for veterans or people who are on TRICARE for life, or I'll go back to the lady on the that has federal coverage as well for your prescription drugs. So United Healthcare has always been here, big guy in town, so to speak, or gal in town. The next one came in about 4 years ago, and that's Florida Blue. Okay, so they have a Medicare Advantage plan. I think they also have a veterans option. And then the latest, which is 2 years now, I think this is their second year, is Humana. So, I would look at all of those because each one has, even though there's only like 5 to choose from, maybe more. Okay, there probably are more. Talking to a broker about that. And again, to reiterate, a broker is somebody who is affiliated, licensed, appointed with these companies, but they are not employees of these companies. They do not have any ball and chain with these companies. They can literally be unbiased in your decision. So again, if your choice is to go with the Village's Healthcare as your primary care physician, and you're okay with the Medicare Advantage plan, then there are three companies and multiple plans within that. Again, Village's Health is probably in a predicament where they can't really recommend one to you. They can recommend a doctor, and you can go and look and see if that doctor's in their network. But they also have, they're pretty good about onboarding people. Now, with a special, when you get a supplement, all bets are off with the Village's Health when it comes to primary care. You cannot see. You could be here 10 years. You are under 65, had a doctor relationship and everything else. Now you turn 65 and you get a supplement. Remember that fork in the road? You went supplement where you pay in advance a premium every month and basically everything's covered. They cannot see you for primary care, but they can see you for specialists. So if you have to see a brain surgeon or a cardio or pulmonary or something of that nature. They do have those specialties, obviously, and they will be able to take your insurance there.
Well, Sue got the Florida Blue. She's not in the Village's Healthcare for one reason, really. That for I can't even tell you how many years up north. She's been on disability. Well, she's on retired now, but she's on disability for years up there. We fell into the so-called donut hole every January because her treatments were 3 times a month back then at a cost of $6,000 per treatment. So it didn't take very long. We're in a donut hole where you got to pay that big chunk before they'll pay any more the rest of the year. We came down here and she done some investigating because things changed down here. Now she gets a treatment once every 6 weeks. As your system gets older, it slows down and you don't need infusions near as much as you did when you were younger.
Right.
So she found out that by using Blue Cross and Blue Shield, we don't fall into a donut hole anymore.
Okay.
But it's a higher premium. So what we paid before in the donut hole, it's still less, but now we're paying the same thing, but we're just paying it monthly at a time with a higher premium. So that was her choice. I don't get involved in it because it's her treatments, and I let her take care of that.
Well, that's a good point you brought up, and a realistic one, something that has happened. And that's why it's your relationship with whoever helps you select one of these plans, first of all, that they should be asking about your doctors. What doctors do you want to see to assure that they're not selling you something that has a network that doesn't include your doctor? Can you imagine buying a Medicare Advantage plan right now and then calling your doctor up and say, hey, got a new plan in January. You're so booked out. I want to go ahead and do my annual visit. Can I go ahead and get signed up? And they say, sure. What's your new plan? And they go, oh, by the way, we don't take that. So that's a slap on the hand to the broker who helped you choose that. The other is prescription medications. And that can be a really big deal, okay? I always tell people there are multiple ways to fill your prescriptions from the doctor. First of all, if it's not a chronic situation that's going to last for a long time, but maybe one where they say, hey, let's try this drug for about 3 months and see how it goes. That doctor has samples. Ask for them. Seriously. I know enough pharmaceutical reps who have trunks full of samples depending on what drug they sell. If it's hey, let's do this for 3 months, your next question or your next instruction is going to say, okay, give me 3 months worth of samples and then we'll see. So that's the first one. The second one is there are 2 Canadian pharmacies here, one north of the Villages, one south of the Villages. And depending on what your position is, on where they're sourced and things like that, that is a good discount opportunity or method. The third thing is a little card, I wish I brought one with me, called Good RX.
Did you forget that too?
No, it's in my office in your driveway.
Alzheimer's kicking in.
Yeah. So GoodRx, just remember to have the card. Now, the card doesn't cost you anything. The plan doesn't cost you anything. They do have promotions where you can increase. But no, the basic, the pharmacist should be able to take that card and tell you what the GoodRx price is. They used to just say, hey, I want to know what the GoodRx price is, but now they're being real particular because they don't make as much money that they want to see your card. I always have plenty of them. You can go online and print one out, things like that. But GoodRx is a good way, too, to look at your prescription medicine and see how much it is. The other thing that I've run into is, remember, you don't have to use your plan. Even though you have a drug plan, you're not paying anything extra for it necessarily with a Medicare Advantage. You don't have to use that. Okay? It's just like anything else. It's there if you want to, and usually if it's least expensive, you want to do that. Now, one thing about
You take over. I'll be right back.
one thing about Sue's situation, and I don't know, her specific condition and prognosis, but I know she does get infusions and injections. And I will tell you, over this last year, I've been very pleased to be able to be in the advocate seat for a lot of women actually with osteoporosis. I've had people with Eliquis that if you go directly to the manufacturer, there is a way for them to help you with the drug costs. Now, that used to be on a needs basis. So in other words, if you could make too much to get on that plan. The ones I've been seeing lately, though, they're offering, maybe a $10 copay card or something like that for these relatively expensive medications. But the big thing is when you sit down, whether it's your current broker or one that you're just, kind of knocking on the door and feeling around a little bit, make sure that you have your doctors and your prescription drug. Now, I cannot ask you about your health. You can tell me about it, but I can't ask you because of HIPAA. So keep that in mind too. If you say, hey, that guy never asked me about my condition or whatever, that's because he can't or she can't. So you can offer that information up, but they cannot do that. That's intrusive. That's being too intrusive.
Oh, what's her name had not a question, but she had a statement, and this is exactly what I was talking about. She said the same thing without saying the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Here goes.
And it's not talking out of two sides of your mouth either. That's not the same.
I do that a lot.
Okay.
Because I see both sides of a coin. That's why it's hard for me to fire employees. In all the years that I owned a trucking company, I only fired one guy. And that's because he didn't follow a direct order. It cost me $10,000. I said, that's it, you're done. But other than that, Sue will tell you, she could probably name a half a dozen guys I should have fired, and I just couldn't do it. I'll work with them just a little. This is getting off subject. Overjoyed says $180 for part. My phone
D,
is for part B, $15 for part D, $280 for part G. Social Security check, $1,700. See, that's the thing. It gets into the dollars and cents of it.
It does. And I'll be blatantly candid. Okay, most people, and this is not a dispersion on anybody in their position in life and anything else. Most people who get supplements have discretionary income to cover that. If you are, everybody, I guess by this time maybe, although some people have passive income and still have business ownership, probably very few W-2 workers who live in the villages. But let's just say, if you're depending on that fixed income, Social Security check, or even Social Security and a pension, your resources are limited. So that you have to count the cost and say, okay, that's the best I can get, but can I get by with less, knowing what the consequences are? And really, when you talk about a supplement versus a Medicare Advantage, the supplement is going to cost you less than the maximum out of pocket on your Medicare Advantage, but you're not going to hit your maximum out of pocket every year. It's going to probably be your worst health year ever that's going to happen. It'll be once in a few years. So those are things that I go over with people as well. I want to definitely mention David Kozak here, he said, I'm going to have to get on Terry's plan after Saturday. So whoever Terry is, and if I missed that comment, David, if you've got questions,
yeah, fire him in here because I don't know who Terry is.
Let me know. I mean, as Skip said, and I told him even more specifically, my office is right out there in the driveway. So this time of year, I'm a busy guy, and I do have a real joy for helping people. Yes, it's my livelihood. There's no way around that. But
and with that, let me say, when you were talking about that most people have another type of income to help pay for some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a significant amount of people here, elderly people. I won't say 55 is elderly because that's the southern area. That's probably the average age, 55 to 60. But I'll say 60 and above that work here.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everybody that works inside the villages, not everybody, but a lot of them, the gate guards, the community watch guys that drive around,
Mm-hmm.
the waitresses at our local restaurants in the villages,
Mm-hmm.
people that work inside the studio departments and things like that, they are residents here working at part-time jobs.
Yeah.
And they use that money, I would imagine, to help pay for medical things like medicine and stuff.
Yep. Well, it's not much further than maybe when somebody did decide to retire. Maybe they prolonged that for a few years because the job paid their benefits. And then they got to 65 and said, well, Medicare is going to be less expensive. It may be, may not be. In most cases, it is. And then they say, okay, I'm going to retire now. The other thing that I've seen because I like to observe, how the community ebbs and flows. In the last couple years.
By the way, have you ever seen a nicer neighborhood than mine?
Never.
This is a great location. It's really good.
I don't see any for sale signs, but
no.
But it is. It's a great, and it is a great location. It's always easy for me to.
Everybody says they got a great location.
So. Anyway, what was I talking about? See, now under 65. Again. So what happened during COVID, you might follow me on this. People were forced to work from home, okay? By and large. Then they and their bosses figured out, well, heck, if he can work from home or she can work from home for 2 years, just stay at home. And on their calendar, their wish list, their bucket list, the picture on the refrigerator was the villages. And they said, why should we wait? I can do the same thing I'm doing here in Syracuse or Detroit or, Indianapolis in the villages and get paid and everything else. So I'm seeing a lot more people coming in that are under 65. And that was what Kelly B had asked and Jerry so kindly answered for me. Yes, we've talked entirely about Medicare up to this point, but I am a health insurance broker. So that means if you need a solution and you're not 65 yet, yes, by all means. We're also in an open enrollment period for that too, those plans. So yeah, Kelly B, right? Kelly B?
The lady a while ago that was saying that she wanted to keep her insurance with the company she was with because of the price and all this and that.
Mm-hmm.
I retired from UPS. UPS had the same program, and I kept it wasn't really just the insurance, it's a benefits package.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got it for $23 a month. That included my medical, my dental. Where are you going to, I can't,
No.
I kept deciding, well, I'm just going to keep this forever. After I retired, probably my fault for not knowing this, it's not forever.
Yeah.
As soon as you became Social Security eligible, and in my case, it was 65, at midnight on your 65th birthday, it is cut off.
Yep.
And I didn't know that. And Sue had treatments the next day, and I got a bill for $6,000 because they refused to pay it. That's when I called the Teamster to find out what was going on. And then they said, oh, yeah, well, you're 65. So you're cut off. When you're cut off, she's cut off.
Oh, my gosh.
So know them benefit differences.
Yeah. It doesn't take any more time if you're 3 months out, 6 months out, a year out from turning 65 or moving or anything like that to talk about it. You don't have to come to a broker ready to sign up and, with the ink pen and everything else. I call my first appointments, discovery appointments. And the reason being is I don't know if I can help you until I know a little bit more about your situation. Because, I'm not going to put you in something that is just right off the shelf. That never works as far as that goes. Let's see. A lot of people want to know if there are any white wine or beer benefits.
There is white wine and beer in there. Why, you want one?
No, to the benefits in the plan.
No, but I have a thing called silver sneakers.
It's a good benefit.
I have no idea what that benefit is.
Oh, okay.
Well,
let's talk
I've
about
got another thing on my, also about it pays a portion of my eyeglasses. But I've got questions about that. Are they talking about the medical things that they do? You know what I'm talking about? Like they dilate your eyes and all that?
Yeah.
Or are they talking about the frame? Are they talking about the lenses?
So the eye exam should be the dilation and everything else. The allowance for frames and all is different. So your annual hearing,
that comes up.
Eye exam.
Now you're talking Medicare.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the insurance.
Yeah.
My Medicare is with, once again, I don't remember the name of it, United Health. I'm with United Health. And that's where the silver sneakers is at. Mm-hmm. And they got a plan in there about eyeglasses, mm-hmm. hearing aids, mm-hmm. but it doesn't specify on the hearing aids. Are they talking about the testing? Are they talking about the hearing aid itself?
So you're going to go and get a free ear exam, eye exam, dental exam with a Medicare Advantage plan, okay? The results of that are going to probably send you in one of two directions. One, looks great, we'll just do it next year and see if there's any changes. Or they're going to say, we need to write you a script for corrective vision, which could include your lenses, obviously your frames, or contact lenses. That's where the allowance for that type of thing comes into play.
So if I want to go to my normal guy I go to get my eyeglasses re-upped, redone, re-examined, mm-hmm.
He has to be in the United Healthcare.
That's what I got to find out. So how would I find that out? Call United Healthcare?
You can call him.
Or just call the eyeglass guy.
Sure. Best bet. Let me go back on that.
Yeah,
the best bet is to look at the website, okay? Because that's where the rubber meets the road. So I take that back. Always look at the website or talk to somebody you might know. I mean, this is a big place around here. Somebody you might know who does, handles health insurance. There might be a broker or somebody that you know who does Medicare and under 65, and Skip hasn't caught on yet that I'm giving him a rib shot here. But
I'm 71. They all know that. I tell them.
I'll be able to help him. I'm not his agent.
Okay? You take offense when somebody says, "How old are you?" No. Why do people do that?
I don't know.
I've
nothing you can do about it.
It seems like it's women, not men. You ask women, "How old are you?" They go, "Well, you're not supposed to ask me that." What rule is that? Where does that come from?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't look like you're 20.
Well, let's talk about some ancillary benefits.
Does this dress make my butt look big?
Okay, ancillary benefits is what, and Skip's doing a good job today, by the way. We don't have any script, and he's brought up several talking points for me. So ancillary benefits, things that you're not really paying for, but are benefits on the Medicare Advantage side of things. He talked about Silver Sneakers. Silver Sneakers is a nationwide network of fitness centers, not a fitness center, but multiple fitness. You're not going to see Silver Sneakers up on the marquee. It might be on the door saying we accept Silver Sneakers, but Silver Sneakers lets you have a free membership to a fitness center. Okay, and there's multiple fitness centers in this area who honor that. It's not like you're going to have to look around or go very far to get it done. Now, be careful. If you want to sign up for a class, yoga, Pilates, something like that, you're probably going to get charged. But your normal, use the pool, use the free weights, use the Nautilus or whatever equipment, things like that, is going to be covered for you. So that's free. You don't pay for that. Medicare Advantage. The second thing is over-the-counter. So over-the-counter items are those items that you're going to find in a drugstore that are not based on a prescription. And there's going to be a limited number, but a good sample size of things that you use that you would go to a drugstore and buy. You can get, again, online. You can order it from there and see what's available. You can get a printed catalog, or you can go to usually a Walgreens or a CVS or a Walmart, and sometimes they even have special color coded areas in the drug section or the non-pharmaceutical section of things that you can buy. And they give you a prepaid debit card. You go in there every quarter, you get this debit card. And my advice to you is use it or you'll lose it. So in other words, I've even had people who are, very generous, and maybe they couldn't use up their whole allotment for that. So they may buy adult diapers for somebody that they know, their next door neighbor or something, because they know they use them, and they're not going to be able to buy all that is available on their card. They'll buy for them, or they'll give it to a homeless shelter or something like that. But those are two ancillary benefits that are quite popular, and you can get some traction from them. One is, again, the health fitness center, and then the other is the over-the-counter drugs, or non-prescription pharmacy items is a good way to put it. There is one company, too, that actually, and I think this will happen more and more, they give away a personal emergency response system device that fallen and I can't get up. They give that out with their particular plan. So, anyway. Okay.
Kelly B, did you get her question?
Yeah, the one about under 65.
Under 65? Okay. Mm-hmm. I think Jerry answered it, but I just wanted to make sure you got it.
Jerry's such a good backup.
He's pretty good when it comes to putting in links and stuff. He finds them fast. I can't even find my own videos.
Okay, Cindy C, I want to touch on this because it is something you would consider when, again, let me use that proverbial fork, supplement Medicare Advantage. Obviously, you don't want to buy a Medicare Advantage if your provider isn't going to accept Medicare Advantage. By and large, most do. Do all? No, they don't. Mayo Clinic is a great example of that, okay? But I'll also tell you something about Mayo Clinic, and again, I'm not saying anything that you're not going to be able to find on the internet. Mayo Clinic does excess B charging. Okay, what does that mean, Craig? Well, you have a supplement. They're going to pay a particular amount based on the Medicare guidelines. If you don't have the top of the line supplement, they can not only charge you what Medicare is going to reimburse the hospital for, but they can charge you for out of pocket. Now, there is a way to still have a supplement and not have to pay excess B charges. But again, what I'm saying is you go into Mayo, Mayo's going to reimburse Medicare or your carrier, your provider company, $500 for this test. But they're telling you this is a $750 test in Jacksonville, Mayo, or Jacksonville, or Mayo, Minneapolis, or whatever, Rochester. So be aware of that. If your provider does not take Medicare Advantage, you have no business getting a Medicare Advantage plan. So just keep that in mind. Again, utilize your advocate network. Might be your next door neighbor, might be the person you see at the pool. It might be your provider, your medical provider, or it might be somebody like me who has done this for multiple years, is licensed and accredited and things of that nature. So that's what I wanted to, again, reiterate that that's a great statement to make. Just remember, there is an option, okay?
Marcia says, Skip, Silver Sneakers offers discounts on gym costs. She doesn't know me very well.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with her.
Do they have a bar?
It's not discounts. It's free.
Oh, it is?
Free.
All of them?
Anyone who's in the Silver Sneakers. And let me tell you this. Silver Sneakers is just one network that some of these companies use. There are multiple networks that maybe one company will use a certain network, another company will use Silver Sneakers, et cetera, et cetera. So Silver Sneakers does not have the monopoly on health plans for Medicare Advantage participants. But even if it's another network, it's probably going to be the same choices you have to make.
Well, what benefit is it for a gymnasium to offer free stuff?
They get paid by the company.
Oh, really? So if I show up, I sign something or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
get my insurance card,
Mm-hmm.
and then I do what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I leave, they bill the insurance company.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, ain't that something?
So as a businessman, you
So
know,
could I just go in and use their shower?
Yeah.
And then leave?
Yeah.
Now, see, as an RVer,
or pool if they have a pool, or your
right,
favorite hot tub.
hot tub.
Hot tub.
See, when you're traveling the country in a car or whatever, sometimes looking for a place to take a clean shower, if you're not staying in a hotel, RVs, you want to save water.
Right.
And if they got a hot tub, you know, that'd be all free to me. And generally speaking, these exercise places are in an area that's got a large parking lot.
True.
So,
But yeah, if they have, I know you've talked about a hot tub a lot on his broadcast. By the way, you guys need to subscribe and join,
yeah.
Patreon. I tell you what, it's just, it went from being, for me anyway, from being entertaining, which it still is, to being very informative. Okay, you can find out a lot. This guy doesn't mince any words or topics.
It's even worse on Patreon.
So anyway, I just encourage you he didn't pay me for this. So no.
But not only that, but we have the Patreon lunch, that nobody else.
Lunch that I keep missing.
Yeah, well, you're busy. I mean, I knew you. I told everybody, I said, there he is. He missed another one. But, hey, this is that time of year that I know it's tough for you to get out and do anything.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you even being
But anyway, the hot tub issue, I don't know personally.
Anyway, that's Sue's line.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that's why I'm here. Sue's not here. So, I haven't done a survey of all of the places. And I'm going to say, I'll put a number on it. There's probably 10 locations within simple driving distance that you could probably get one of these for. Memberships, gym memberships, fitness memberships. And the thing about it is, if they do have a hot tub, and like Skip says, the only one around is it Spanish Springs, or the older area has a hot tub?
Yeah, they got a couple hot tubs up there in the older area.
None in everything south.
Yeah, when the Mark and the rest of them took over and the old man retired, that's where it all stopped.
Rick says, if you sign up for Silver Sneakers, do you have to put a silver loofah on your golf cart?
That loofah thing is so crazy.
Okay. Let's see.
How long have you been down here?
6 years.
6 years? And you've been, what is it you do again?
I drive around in that car.
And you've been doing this work for 6 years?
Yeah, I've been in the financial services industry for 32 years.
Okay, because I was just wondering, how do you get so knowledgeable in just 6 years?
Well, I'll give you a true story. I had been your typical, okay, everybody's going to get something in their head when I say this term, financial advisor. Okay, that's a big umbrella there. And I decided one year to, because a lot of my clients were retiring or approaching retirement, I said, that would be good for me to extend my retirement planning services to them in regards to their health care, because when's the last time you've really had to make a decision about your health care? I mean, yeah, you've worked for a company where every open enrollment, you just check the box and say, yeah, keep it the way it was, or what. But this is a different animal. You really have to think about you and what's out there. You may have had, 3, 4, 5 plans to choose from with your employer. Now, like I said before, you have 57 in this area, 57 plans that could fit one of your needs out there. So I decided to go ahead and jump in the game and do Medicare, and I had a decision to make. Either after the first year, I was going to look at it as, do I want to continue to poke my eye with a sharp stick, or do I want to keep going? And that first year was so difficult in getting to know all of this information. But I stuck to it, and I said, there's too many people that were helped, too many people that had a situation where at the end of our meetings said, Craig, I don't know if I could have done it without you. Craig, thank you so much for pointing out these things that I had no idea were out there and available, and have just continued to do that, where that aspect of my business, just the Medicare, has been a very large portion of what I do, especially this time of year. So, I'll continue to do this. And Skip, I don't know what to tell you as far as how do I become so knowledgeable. I'm just blessed. I mean, the Lord's given me skill sets and gifting that I can't take credit for. I've just been able to absorb and be a sponge for some of this stuff. And you guys are probably one of the biggest reasons. Every time you present me with a new set of circumstances and scenarios and drugs and doctors and all that, then I have to be able to be up to snuff in giving you good information. So,
Well,
hope
I
that
know
answers
that
your question.
some of the people you've helped, and a lot of the people I know that you've helped, were told by numerous other people that there was nothing they could do
Mm-hmm.
because of state requirements and blah, blah, blah. And I know that when you went and talked to them, you proved them other people not to really know what they were doing, and you got it all straightened out.
Yeah.
Without mentioning names and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So usually they have the knowledge that you've got, and I know you've got. It takes a lifetime of learning. And as time goes on, Medicare changes every year. I'm sure it does. Social Security changes every year. Just like when I was a trucker. The trucker rules and regulations literally changed every year. So unless you were in the industry, you just couldn't keep up with all the changes. Mm-hmm. And so by you knowing all these changes, do you go to a class like once a year or something?
Well, we do have, this is a regulated profession. I have a license with the state of Florida Department of Insurance to do this, both under 65 and above. The industry also has you certify every year to sell products in general. And then each particular company that I'm licensed or appointed with has their own certification. So, and that's more specific to their plans and their way of doing business and things of that nature. So yeah, there's an ongoing, it's a lot more intensive than your typical, your CEU credits, continuing education units that I think all of us have been through, where maybe you hit the enter button and it goes through a PowerPoint slide. You have to take exams and everything else, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's easy, but yeah, every year you have to certify. Every year you have to pass several tests. You have to keep up your credentials with the state of Florida as far as the Department of Insurance. So yeah, these are not things that people just jump into one day and they can do what they want as far as that goes.
So I read her to say, being in this business that you're in, when the day comes that you decide to cut the cord and say, I'm done, I'm going to retire, you know exactly what you're going to do.
Hey, next year.
Are you retiring next year?
Next year I turn 65.
Are you going to quit?
No.
Are you going to keep on working?
This is not a manual labor intensity, bad on my body, hurt my body type thing. As long as this guy's okay.
But you live in a car. Jokingly, but
during the day I do. Yeah.
How many miles you got on that thing now?
254.
Good Lord, I've never kept a car that long.
Yep. All right, let's see if there's any more.
If you have your Medicare every year comes through, and I don't do it, Sue takes care of all this, so I don't really know the answer to this. If I don't want to change my plan, do I do anything?
No.
You said something about checking a box about
no, you don't have to check a box. You get automatically renewed. You don't have to go in and say every year, keep my plan from last time. No, it will, unless you make a change,
It just all stays the
it
same.
just stays. And this is another good thing to keep. You got guys even going door to door these days, which, by the way, is illegal. I cannot solicit door to door, nor would I. I'm just saying, door to door. If Skip told me that his neighbor across the street wants to talk to me, that neighbor has to call me or email me or text me. I can't just go over and say, hey, by the way, Skip and Sue said that you might need. That's solicitation in the eyes of Medicare. Now, if they brought them over and introduced them to me, or we went to their doorstep, that's a whole different
Or
thing.
they come to Porch Settin.
Or they come to
They
Porch
could ask
Settin.
all the questions right here.
Yeah, there's plenty of room here, by the way. So yeah, you don't have to renew, but I always tell people revisit. Skip said it several times. Things change every year, especially in this industry. Just make sure that the plan you have is the one that you want to get. If you've got a supplement, probably 99 chances out of 100, you're not going to change. Okay, but a Medicare Advantage plan might be totally different for you. And what's 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes of sitting down with somebody and going over, what you have, what you want, and make sure it's okay? Or are there some blind spots? Are there some things that you want to take care of that you didn't have the opportunity to do at first?
Wrestler Mania is in the house.
Uh-oh.
Wrestler, go back and go to the chat back there. I think they were talking about you. And they were talking about Gringo Loco. Somebody saying, where's he been? I have no idea. I wondered that the other day. I was asking Stu about that. I ain't seen Gringo Loco on here in the last 2 or 3 Porch Settins. Usually he's always on here for a little while. But I do know, as an American citizen, he's trying to get out of Costa Rica, because that's where he is, and come back to the United States, and he said there was a problem. I don't have no idea, and he hasn't been on here since.
Uh-oh.
Maybe the problem is he's in jail.
Yeah.
There goes a Patriot member right there in that car.
Yeah, Community Watch.
Yeah.
Hey, Phil Beard, he uses Express Scripts for his prescription drugs. That's a Part D plan. I would venture to guess, just from that, working backwards as an investigator, Phil Beard either has a traditional Medicare, just Part A and B, which he can do. He added a D plan, prescription drug, or he has a supplement plan where he has had to purchase a Part D. But no, that's fantastic, Phil. Great to see that, and thank you so much for supporting these channels too. I know you're a moderator and everything else. So.
William says, let's go do a barbecue while we're doing Porch Settin. Well, I'll tell you, William, the best place to go do a barbecue on my Patreon pages anyway is Phil B. Not only has he got a great barbecue area up there, he has a swimming pool.
He does.
And he makes homemade fudge.
Yeah.
With alcohol.
Just make sure you got a designated driver.
Did you have any of it?
Oh, yeah.
Was it stout?
Oh, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. So John Lombard, question, what happens to TRICARE for life coverage when you turn 65 and start Medicare? Best coverage out there, buddy. Hang on to that with dear life. You really don't have to do anything else. The government has taken care of you, and in most cases, in some sort of recompense for keeping us safe throughout the year. So thank you for your service.
Wrestler says world's best fudge. Wrestler got some too. Phil sent him some in the mail. I'm not sure how you mail fudge in the mail. He did. He did a video on it too. I don't know how stout it was. He didn't really talk about it. I don't know if he got rum or bourbon or what he got. I've had both, and I kind of like the rum better. It had more of a candy flavor to it.
All right, T-Finder. I'd like to have a conversation with you offline if we could. You were saying that major costs can be levied with Medicare Advantage plans, upward of $8,000 per year. I'd love to discuss that with you, and want to make sure you're not confusing the maximum out-of-pocket cost limit ceiling with maybe something I don't even know about. So that's the
Go
first.
back up, go back up into the chat. I think Jerry posted your phone number.
Oh, okay.
I think. Um, I think he also posted maybe your email address. But the problem is, when we done a video the other day, didn't you tell me the email I had was the wrong one?
The last one we did, you upgraded.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering if Jerry's got the old email or
Oh,
the new
yeah.
one. What was that email, by the way?
That was the 1-star hospitals.
But what was the email?
Oh, Craig at FabianInsurance.com. The other one was Craig at MBATPA.com.
Okay. If Jerry can't
Is
put that
Jerry
in,
out there? Hey, Jerry, can
yeah.
you do me a favor?
I was gonna say Jerry can at least put your phone number in there and leave you a message, maybe,
Well, I can chat,
and
right?
then you could call him back.
Okay, so
That's one of our new neighbors,
the motorcycle?
frickin' Harley.
Okay, so I'm just looking through these right now. If you've got anything else, I'm going to put my number in there. Jerry may have already put it in there.
Hey, I got money. Who sent me a super chat? I'm trying to read. The sun's in here and it's got my phone glaring really bad. Looks like Ronnie, something. What does that name say in the orange? What does that name say? Can you see it?
I can't see it either.
I can't either.
Man, we're both going blind. Ronnie Delaplane. Delaplane.
Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ronnie.
I didn't see a question in there. By the way, I always give priority to questions when they accompany with a super chat.
Okay.
Can you link the info in the description? Yeah, I can do that too. At the end of this, I have to go in there and I can do all that. But Jerry's usually pretty good at putting stuff in here, and I'm thinking he probably already did, and I just didn't see it. Jerry's really good at finding that stuff.
Yeah, we need to get him to be a producer on this show.
Are you saying I'm not good at it?
No, you're a great upfront guy and technical crew, but
This is a one-man show here.
We need to delegate because this guy works so hard, literally.
Well, you notice I'm not on a bus trip.
Nope.
And I don't think we could do porch sitting in the back of a Greyhound bus.
No. We could do it in the RV, though, couldn't we?
If I take my Wi-Fi with me. It's all about Wi-Fi.
Maybe we need to do that.
You know, if a country wants to attack America and really disrupt everything, all they got to do is take out our Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. And we're a mess. Half the people streams their TV through Wi-Fi. Half the telephones work through Wi-Fi. Everything.
Yeah.
And people pay their bills on the computer.
Hear me out. I think what we need to do,
Hear me out.
Maybe next year. You know, the Village's Health has about 10 locations. And not that we would be giving them any preferential treatment, but a lot of people here go to the Village's Health. We could pick out 5 and just do remote broadcasts from the RV.
You want me to drive this RV around the villages?
And do the show.
And park in the street?
Just pull right up to the...
I'm not even sure that's legal. I can tell you this. They passed this rule many years ago. I cannot park at any rec center.
Really?
No, because there was an outside company, bus trip company, and they would park at different major rec centers, or regional rec centers here to pick people up. And so they would pick them up at this rec center at 10 o'clock, pick them up at that rec center at 10:30, and they got a bus load, and they took them to wherever they were going to go. Well, the developer runs a bus company down here. He owns all the property around here. He passed a rule saying all these outside buses are not allowed to park on village property anymore. And they haven't been here since.
Wow.
Hey, when everybody talks about how nice everything is around here in Florida's friendliest hometown, well, from the inside out, that's 75% true until you start stepping on their toes when it comes to dollars and cents.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Here's an interesting story. Nobody videoed anything down here on YouTube until I started. Nobody.
Right.
Villages, all the sales representatives, all the real estate companies, none of them. So I started doing videos of homes to show people what they look like inside to help them out. All of a sudden, the villagers thought that was a great idea. So they started their own YouTube channel doing that, and they pretty much barred guys like me from going into houses. You can't go in a new house and do that anymore. But it was okay up to that point.
Really?
Yeah. They even barred Ira. I mean, trespassed him. He can't be on their properties.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's not necessarily the friendliest place in the world.
Hey,
Wait a minute, I got some more money from. Man, this sunlight is killing me. Wonder if I can make my words bigger. Dina Hayworth, am I saying that right? Deanna.
Yeah.
Deanna Hayworth, $4.99 super sticker. Thanks, Deanna. Appreciate it. I don't see a question in there. Next time you send a super sticker, put a question in there. We'll answer it.
Hey, Jerry Bell's asking, when's the wedding?
What wedding?
Well, I don't know. He must know me better than he thinks.
Are you getting married?
No, I'm already married.
Well, that will stop you from getting married again, right?
It's not
You're
Utah.
Mormon, right?
My daughter, our baby, is getting married.
Oh, that always hurts.
November 22nd of next year. Thank you for asking, Jerry.
That always hurts when you see your babies go.
And Phil, we want to make sure that the Marine Corps is honored. November 10th is their birthday, so happy birthday, Marines.
Veterans Day's coming up, I think.
Yeah.
Sue always makes sure we got flags everywhere. I'm not picking on her, so don't, we have flags everywhere. And during Flag Day, our neighborhood is just, the streets are lined with these flags. They stick them everywhere.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin K.
Kevin K.
Kevin K said, what do snowbirds do since they live in 2 different states? That's a great question, too. It's not the greatest yet, but it's a great question. Kevin, it's kind of like, I don't want to give you any tax advice, but kind of like where's your domicile? When you file your taxes, what particular state are you in? That's kind of how Medicare works. Now, if you had a PPO plan, a Medicare Advantage PPO plan, or a supplement, it wouldn't matter where you are, okay? So you still have to use, on a Medicare Advantage plan, the doctors in the network. So say you were in Indiana half the year down in the villages, just make sure that both of those domiciles, that you have your medical team in place, so to speak. But if you had a PPO, it would be covered. And then on a supplement, it doesn't matter where you are. I mean, literally. So snowbirds, the only ones that I have not been able to help at all, and Skip is going to laugh at this, it has nothing to do with people from New York, okay? But Canadians, I cannot help them because they have their own medical system up there, and there's nothing that they can get unless it's maybe a temporary insurance from Canada for their stay while they're here as snowbirds. But I can't really provide much help. A little bit of direction, but not much help.
I thought, I could be wrong about this, that any foreigner, and Canada is a foreign country, that comes to America, if they're going to be down here for a month or 2 months or 3 months, they always recommend to buy a temporary medical insurance policy to cover them in case something should happen here. Kind of like automobile insurance. Make sure your automobile insurance covers your car in a foreign country. Am I not true, right?
Yeah, and there's also what they call travel accident policies. Again, what you're doing there is you're limiting yourself to an injury being the result of an accident. So, something that a chronic disease popped up or something like that, or you got the flu or something like that, it would be difficult to associate that with an accident of some sort. But there are a few little things. I know people who go on cruises and all these junkets to Europe and Asia and all, they buy travel insurance, and basically anything that happens to them while they're gone is pretty much covered. Now there are foreign benefits on here, both supplement and Medicare Advantage. The the foreign supplement, I mean the foreign coverage on a supplement is like 25,000 max, and I think on the Medicare Advantage it's about 50,000. So that's something that as you're thinking. But again, the Canadians, they can't get, because their home country doesn't have a system like ours.
We had a friend that used to live here that took a cruise, I think, to the Bahamas or some damn place. I'm pretty sure it was Bahama Island somewhere. And he had a heart attack. And he needed some kind of surgery. I don't know if it was stents. I don't know. And the Bahama hospital he was at would not accept his insurance nor Medicare. And they loaded him on a plane and flew him to Miami to get the services done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought Bahamas had an agreement with America for that. I mean, we spend millions of dollars there in tourist money, and they can't. I don't know how that works, but I think this is why I've got such a hard-nosed attitude towards some countries. They just want to take, and they give you nothing.
Yeah, it's true. Wow, overjoyed. I know we've talked about a couple of your posts here. You've got a lot of them and a lot of input. Again, if you'd ever like to just have a sidebar sometime, please let me know. It sounds like you're very knowledgeable. I might even be able to learn something from you. So thank you for all your posts.
What are you going to learn?
I have no idea. Every day I hope to learn something. I know the last time I did porch sitting, I learned not to wear a long sleeve shirt.
Did you sweat your...
Yeah, I think it was all wet when I was there.
I got the fan out here today.
Thank you.
I know it's not great, but it helps.
That fan came from, was it Bell?
I don't know. Sue gets this
I remember
stuff.
Sue told us.
She bought it for the RV, and it's got the adjustable pedestal, and I looked at it, and I told her, I said, why did you get that for the RV? Look how big this thing is. We're driving down the road. Where are you going to put that thing? I was looking for a little, and the old oscillating fans. Do they still make them? Those are great.
Yeah, they make them. Or you could probably get them at one of those.
Amazon. They bring it right to my front door.
Yeah, that's true.
I got an Amazon package coming, I think, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow. They finally got me. I've never had one, but have you ever had to take your car in and have the battery tested under a load to see if it's really bad or not?
Yeah.
Because when you put meters on it, it says, well, it says it's 12 volt or 13 volt.
Right.
But
then you have
then it starts really slow. Yeah. I always wanted to get my own, and I ordered one. And I will say this, if I knew it was coming from Cucamonga, California, I would never have ordered it. Because I know where Cucamonga, California is.
Right.
But anyway, I already ordered it, and I got one coming. So I'm going to have my own.
Hey, Phil, Nacho Man, Frioles, guacamole. Where's a good place to get some Mexican food around here?
Oh, God, Phil will know. He knows every restaurant around here.
And then, William, I want to clarify something. Even though I've been doing this for 6 years, I am a Florida native as well. So we are comrades in arms.
You're a native?
Yeah. Born in...
what tribe?
Born in Lake Worth, Florida. So that's where I grew up.
I went down 41, and there was an Indian tribe down there that had airboat rides. Are you part of that tribe?
No.
What tribe are you from?
Well, I'm definitely not. I'll say this, and some of you will catch on to this because I want to be very polite, but I am not a Seminole.
You're not a part of the Seminole Indian tribe?
Or anything else Seminole.
Damn, you would have been part of a casino if you was. You know, out west, that's what they do. All the gambling casinos is on the Indian territory.
Sure they are.
The profit at the end of the year is divided amongst all the members of that tribe. They're doing okay.
Well,
not great.
I saw something the other day, and it is, I don't want to say it's totally changed Appalachia, but it has made a big dent. Because some of those people up there are, from that same reason, the
casinos
making some cash.
Appalachia.
I mean, the people are not.
Yeah. Well, now Appalachia, I'm familiar with not all of it, but quite a bit of it. I was actually on the Appalachian Walking Trail and walked for a while up to like 12,000 feet in a mountain. That's a hike and a half, let me tell you.
12,000 feet.
Yeah, it was up. Well, I don't know. It was up in the clouds. I can tell you that. And anyway, some of them people are, I'll call it old Appalachia. You're never going to change them.
Right.
Never.
Right.
They got their stills. They got their stuff. They're very secretive about everything, and it's all about community. The community might know everybody in town that's got a still, and they're not going to tell you nothing. I mean, that's just the way it is. There's family from family from family.
Right.
I haven't been there yet, but I still want to go to the Hatfield graveyard. And you can get there.
Yeah.
I've just never been there, and I don't know if I can get my RV there. Do I need to, rent me a 4-wheel drive or something to get up there?
Wow.
It's one of them trips I'm going to do.
All right. TR Maines is with us from Oklahoma. Go Oklahoma. That's an upside down.
What's that?
This is a Texas. So
That's Texas?
This is what the Oklahoma people do. Yeah.
You got to stop right here. That's Texas.
Longhorns.
And this is
Anti-Texas. Oklahoma does that.
You college baseball fans are crazy. Or is it football?
Everything.
Oh, everything. Well, I met a lady the other day, and she told me she was from Arkansas because she had an accent. And I asked her, where are you from? She said, Arkansas. I said, oh, you're an Arkansas Ridge Runner. That's all I ever heard in trucking, period. Arkansas Ridge Runner. Ridge Runner. You're a Ridge Runner.
Really?
She looked at me. She goes, no, we're Razorback.
Yeah.
So now it's got me thinking, is Ridge Runner being kind of like nasty to people? Is that like a thing? Like
I don't know. Yeah.
Like this? I mean,
meaning you're just going around the...
I don't know what that meant. No, so I'm not going to call Arkansas people Arkansas Ridge Runners anymore because I might get hit someday. See, I'm what you call uneducated when it comes to world events. They say, who's president of China? I don't know. All I know is we send too much money over there, and it's Walmart's fault.
Yeah. Hey, I got T-Finder here. Just gave me a little rib jab. There are many YouTube videos that explain differences between Advantage and Original Medicare, which does much more thorough details. Yeah, there sure is, and those aren't licensed people, by the way. So buyer beware, okay? You can watch anything you want on YouTube, and those people, Joe Namath is not a licensed agent in the state of Florida, you name it. Those are great videos if you know what you're looking at, and it's a good thing to support maybe what a professional has introduced to you. I recommend videos like that a lot of times, but you're going to make your decision on that. Just buyer beware, okay? Just want to be looking at.
I don't trust anything I see on TV anymore, especially the news. So I know he knows what he's talking about. I know what he's telling you is truthful. I don't know what you watched on TV. And the facts of it is, you come on my channel to insult my guests, maybe you need to find somewhere else to go.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We're good. We're all... T-Finder, I don't know if you got this off of one of those YouTube videos you were talking about, but that is not true. You said it is not possible to switch from Advantage to Original Medicare. It depends on your medical history. That is false. That is a false statement. I will tell you, if I had my correcting pen, you cannot go back to a supplement, a Medicare supplement, without being medically underwritten. But you can go back to Original Medicare during your annual enrollment period.
William made a smart statement. Says, everyone you meet knows something you don't.
Yep.
That's true.
Yep.
I can't tell you. I know it's a joke. You learn something new every day. But I'm here in the studio almost all day long editing. Matter of fact, after this, I'm going straight in there and start the news. It'll take me 2 days to do that.
Right.
But when I do go to town or I meet somebody or somebody will recognize me and Sue and we'll get to talking to them a little bit or whatever, they're always telling me something that I didn't know. I think they assume because I live in the villages that I know everything about the villages.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. And they tell me things that I don't even know, especially the newer area.
Right.
I don't know anything about that newer area down there. I don't go down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know this, like you. I've been here long enough. I'm the longest full-time YouTube channel of anybody. I've been doing this longer than anybody. And I can tell you that I have watched a lot of different YouTube channels here to see what's going on in a newer area, basically, like everybody else. And I hear a lot of, like you probably know about things, I hear a lot of false statements that are not true.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, on YouTube, it's different than you. They do it here for clickbait.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like it, never did. And so when somebody says, did you watch this video or that video, there's a 90% chance I did not watch it because it irritates me to hear people tell stories that I know are not true.
Yeah. Hey, John Romanek. John, I know we commented on one of your posts, but you had asked how hard is it to change back to Medicare and supplement from an Advantage plan. First of all, you're going to have to do that during the open enrollment period, which again lasts through December 7th of this year. The other thing is you can go back to original Medicare. Original Medicare is Part A and B, okay? It's original or traditional Medicare. If you want to go to a supplement, you are going to have to be medically underwritten. Now, it's not as intrusive as maybe a life insurance policy where they come out and they take a urine sample, blood draw, check the Medical Information Bureau, your credit report, your driving record, and all that. It's not that type of underwriting. There are about 15 questions that they do ask you. I'd be more than happy to supply those for you if you want to, evaluate that possibility for you. I've got a couple people looking at that right now. But that is, they're knockout questions is what they are. So out of like those 15 questions, if you say yes to one of them, you're going to get knocked out, and that particular supplement will not be available to you. I hope that answers your question.
I figured it out. I got my words bigger.
Oh.
All right, I can see it better. Ridge Runner. Okay, CM says Ridge Runner is a nickname for people from the higher parts of the mountain areas in southeastern United States, especially the Appalachia. However, it has significantly different meanings. Could be, but I've always heard in Arkansas, truckers called everybody I know in Arkansas Ridge Runners. I don't know.
Do the routes go around the state?
First of all, I didn't like going through Arkansas at all because their highways are terrible.
Uh-oh.
But
We're in trouble now.
But when I did have to go, you hear it on radio all the time, the CB radio. An Arkansas Ridge Runner. And I don't know what that meant. Yeah, I don't know what that meant. Like Shaky City. Shaky City is San Francisco because of the earthquakes. Circle City. That's Indianapolis because the
interstate goes around it. Yep. Okay, yeah, racetrack.
So, I mean, it had all kinds of names. So I hear Arkansas Ridge Runner. I just didn't think anything about it. Now I'm wondering, did I insult people? I don't mean to insult people. Sometimes I do and don't even know it.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Well, hey, Wrestler Mania, was he just pulling our legs saying he'll be right over?
Yes, he's in Pennsylvania.
I don't know how much longer we can wait.
He can't go anywhere without asking his wife.
Okay, sounds good. Well, I think.
Hey, where'd you guys go?
There's a couple members of the WNL
going
crew
on a bus trip
in here.
No, Judy drove.
Hey, Judy.
Hey.
How are you?
We went to Bountiful Farms.
I don't know where that's at. Don't really care. But I thought you was going on a bus trip.
Well, I thought it was a bus trip, but it wasn't.
Yeah, Sue and Judy are here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Judy.
I went on a bus trip the other day.
Did you?
I went to Epcot.
Oh, you did? Well, you're a member, right? What do they call that?
A Mickey member?
Yeah, well, she can go in and out as well.
Yeah. But I just went down with a bunch of people.
Hey, is the Disney parks as empty as I keep hearing they are?
It was pretty busy that day.
It's pretty busy.
But it also been we had one of the races. You know how they have like 5Ks, 10Ks?
Oh, yeah.
And they just had one of those. So I think a lot of people
Hey, Judy, why don't you go in there and get me a beer in the
That's where I
refrigerator?
did 2 marathons.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in one day.
Wow. In one day?
My first.
Hey,
and my
Judy, why don't you
last.
go in there and get me a beer? It's in the refrigerator. Yeah.
Does your friend want a beer?
He's driving. He can't drink.
He can sleep over. You got a guest room.
He's going to give me the RV to sleep in.
About a glass of tea.
I have water, actually. Yeah, thank you. And he has been very hospitable, by the way.
Has he been?
And he's behaved himself for the most part.
For the most, like maybe 80%.
This conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we're live.
Hey, are you on Medicare yet?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how old you are.
Yeah.
How old are you?
See, you're asking her age again.
I know you're not.
You're
The
asking
women
her
are always
age.
saying that. You shouldn't ask that.
I've been on Medicare since the day I closed on my house.
That doesn't tell me anything. How old are you?
That's all you need to know. The day I closed on my house, I was eligible for Medicare.
So you're over 65 then, right? That's all I needed to know.
The day I closed
Yeah.
on my house, I was eligible for Medicare, and it was also my birthday.
Now, how else could she be eligible for Medicare? This is the quiz, a general
quiz. She was disabled.
Very good. Disabled with 2 years, at least 2 years of SSI income, Social Security,
I qualified on
disability.
all of that, but I'm not disabled.
And what's another way? It
Well,
happens here. It happened to your next door neighbor.
that was a complicated thing that you took care of, and I don't even know what the whole complication
He
was.
deferred his decision because he was still working.
Yeah.
And he took his wife.
I just
I
know
won't tell how old
that
he was.
she said
He was.
they wouldn't let him do something down here, and everybody said he couldn't do it down here, and then you got it done. That's all I really know.
So hold on.
Yeah.
It's that magic.
And then he bought me a case of beer for introducing you to them, so I got paid for it. No, it wasn't a case of beer. Was it a case of beer? He left it on the front porch. He doesn't even hang around.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Bountiful Farms.
Huh?
Can you blame him?
Well, no.
Just leaving it?
I think what it really is he's really hard of hearing like I am, and I know this about people that get hard of hearing, and I get that way. You get to the point where you don't want to talk to anybody.
You know what you can do to correct that?
Well, that's the problem we're trying to figure out. How does my Medicare pay for my hearing aids?
I think he can do it.
I think
And he wants to find a silver sneakers area that has.
No, I don't want to find no silver sneakers area at all.
It has a hot tub.
If it has a hot tub, I could go down and visit the hot tub if it's free.
That's true.
See?
And what about the young I knew of is over on 441.
The young chicks?
Yeah, does he want that too?
Yeah.
What?
Young chicks.
I can't answer
Young
that.
chicks. What the hell would I do with a young chick? It took me 52.
It to be big and then it can lay in.
It took me 52 years to train her to go get me a beer.
See how well that's working out.
Yeah, that's why I asked
So did you bring anything from Bountiful Farms?
No. I got here.
We ate every bit of it.
I brought some Japanese sweet potatoes.
Yeah?
Who cares about Japanese sweet potatoes?
I do. They're good.
I'd rather have an American sweet potato.
They did have zucchini bread.
I would eat zucchini bread.
Well, I like
But I really like what Sue makes. See, this is the problem I have. You get used to eating mom's stuff, and then you go to a restaurant, and invariably every time you get what you want, it's not like mom made. And so you just don't care for it.
Mama Judy will make some.
No, I want like her zucchini bread. She makes the right zucchini bread. You will never make the right zucchini bread. Doesn't get you cooking, you just will never make it the way I want it. Just like meatloaf. You'll never
Judy,
make it the
what
way
part
I want
of Georgia did you live in?
it. Alabama.
Oh, Alabama?
I did not live in Alabama.
She did live. Listen to
I
that.
lived in Atlanta, and then I lived in Northwest, like by Marietta.
And then
Okay.
Dothan, right?
That's Alabama.
Did Delta's headquarters move to Alabama, Skip?
Huh?
Delta
Ooh.
Airlines headquarters moved to Alabama.
They did?
I'm asking you a question.
Oh, I don't know. I've never flown Delta. I have no idea.
Well, Delta's headquarters moved to Atlanta, and it's the largest airline in the Atlanta area.
I was going to say they probably moved there because Atlanta Airport's so huge.
Atlanta Airport wasn't huge when they moved there, because I remember the other airport.
Well, there's the whole airlines. I seen a special thing on TV about that in the United States, and I think I got the numbers right. The whole airport system is controlled by 5 airlines. They control the price, who gets in, who don't get in, because they take priority. And one of them, the bottom one, is Southwestern. They just moved in.
And Delta is one of
Delta is one of the top 2.
Yeah.
and there were some other ones in there, but they pretty much control all the major airports and stuff.
Well, back when I was a kid and we would be going on a trip, my dad would go park in employee parking, and we were able to walk across the tarmac by the planes to get back to the terminal.
Yep.
That was prior to the
Yeah.
new airport. That
So
was when
your
we-
dad would let you kids go play at the airport?
Just on the taxiway.
Yeah, he was with us. He made sure nothing hit us.
Go play in traffic, airplane traffic? Is that what he told you?
Hey, there's a question for Skip here from CM.
Oh, tell me.
Those are my initials too. They were wondering how many of your loads when you were a trucker was moonshine.
None.
I think that's how he learned
No.
to drive the race car.
None that you reported, or none that.
Well, listen, as a trucker, owner-operator,
Uh-huh.
I owned a tractor. I did not own any trailer.
Okay.
And I was leased. My tractor was leased to a company. This is how it works. I can put any driver I want in that tractor, but he becomes my employee, not their employee. So I drove my own, so I was my own employee.
Okay.
And the company called me up and said, hey, we got a load. Here's how it works. They call you up, let's say on Sunday to get started. They call you up, and depending where you're at on the board, it's all by seniority. They call you up and they say, we got 14 loads going to St. Louis. We got 20 loads going to Chicago. We got 30 loads going to Columbus, Ohio. Where do you want to go? So you think about how you want to do things, because you got a private life too. Think, well, I'll take that St. Louis load, because you know in St. Louis you could probably get straight back home because they do stuff in St. Louis they don't do in Columbus. So I'll take that St. Louis load. What time you got? Well, I got a 2 a.m., a 3 a.m., a 4 a.m. It goes around the clock. You pick the one you want. And then when you say, I'll take it, they tell you what trailer number it is. Now, I go over there. Now, the St. Louis loads back then went to Anheuser-Busch.
Okay.
So when I get over to the factory to pick these trailers up, it's padlocked. I can't get in there.
No.
So they lock it up to protect the stuff. I hook onto the trailer and got the paperwork, because inside I got a slot with my name on it. All the paperwork's in there. I pull the paperwork out, I go out in the truck, I draw a line, that's your logbook. I draw a line, put it in gear, boom, I'm gone. I get down there, the guard down there said, pull in dock so-and-so. I got to pull up to the dock. There's a guard that'll be standing there. He unlocks that lock. I don't have a key.
Right.
He opens up the trailer doors and tells me to stay in that tractor. You're not allowed to get out. I back in the dock. Now you tell me what went on that trailer. What came up?
You have
that
no
trailer?
idea.
I have no idea.
Nope.
And that's how a lot of loads are.
Yeah. Wow.
But I will tell you, Sue's right. That's how I learned how to drive a race car, is because of moonshine. NASCAR, that's their history of that.
Yeah.
And I used to drive years ago.
Right.
Nothing big. It's all local tracks. And to me, it was just a weekend of fun with the guys and getting rid of some frustrations. You know, it's just fun. That's all. And a couple of times I even drove a figure-8 car.
Oh my gosh.
I went in full well knowing I'm beating this thing up. I'm going to run into as many people as I can.
Gosh. I think the only thing worse is the figure-8 buses, school buses.
I haven't seen that, but I did see a figure-8, not a figure-8. Well, I'll say demolition derby. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Of farmers' combines inside
No way.
inside the Hoosier Dome. It was the funniest thing I ever saw.
Oh,
Those
man.
things just fell apart.
Well,
So what service, Ronnie? Oh, he's talking to Ronnie. Ronnie. So we get all the questions answered that we're
I
asking?
think we did.
Wait a
I
minute.
think
Ronnie
I went-
says, I stopped Part B. Did you get that? All
Yes.
my medical is done through the VA.
Yep.
Okay. I was going to say, VA is a good place to go.
we talked about
Ricky
that.
P sent me a $5 super chat. I don't see no question on there again, Ricky P. Next time, put a question on there. We'll take it. Thank you, Ricky. Zucchini bread is delicious. I love zucchini bread. You know, the thing is about zucchini bread is maybe it's my taste buds. I don't really taste much difference between zucchini bread and banana bread.
Yeah.
It all tastes about the same.
Yeah. Same consistency.
Overjoyed says she technically was on Medicare at 64.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I gave you two reasons why you can get on Medicaid or Medicare, because Medicaid and Medicare is different, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Medicaid generally because of income level,
Medicaid.
Correct.
Correct.
and Medicare,
Assets and income.
right?
Mhm.
But my sister was on Medicaid for a long time.
And you can be on both.
Well, in her situation, and I don't know what to do with her. I mean, she doesn't want to move. She wants to stay where she's at. She's got neuropathy really bad. She can't even hardly walk anymore. She doesn't drive a car, and she depends on social services to pick her up, take her to a doctor's appointment, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm.
I sometimes wonder how she's even getting by, and I keep asking her, says, "You want me to check in some assisted living places? What do you want to do?" She says, "Nothing. I'm going to stay right here." I said, "Sis, one of these days you're going to fall down,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you're going to really get hurt, and then what? You can't." She's so far behind society. She has no idea what a cell phone is. She's heard of it,
Really?
but she didn't know what it is.
Wow.
And so I said, to help her save money, I said, "Why don't we get you a cell phone so you don't have to be making all these long distance phone calls?" Because she lives 20 miles from her doctor. To make an appointment, that's a long distance phone call. And for somebody that's really strapped
Really?
on, yeah. So I said, "Why not get you a cell phone?" And then you can just have that disconnected. No. I like that phone. It's just frustrating that I can't get her to do anything, and I know what's coming.
Hmm.
But anyway, her ex-husband died. And I don't know if this is law or if it's something in his will. I don't know. But when he died, immediately her Social Security disability went to his, which put her above the Medicaid line.
Oh.
So now she's lost that, and she has to pay for her own medical insurance.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she says she's okay, but I look at it thinking, man, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, because she was in government supported housing. I guess Section 8 they call it,
Mm-hmm.
where they take a percentage of your Social Security.
Yep.
Well, now that she's above that line, the guy's already told her your rent's going to go up.
Right.
I don't know. What do you do with somebody
Wow.
like that?
Isn't that? I know there's just those little, just above the line, below the line, and all that. And given the whole nature of helping people, we know what situation she's in. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. But I guess they got to put.
I keep thinking I could bring her down here and find a place for her. She doesn't want to live with me. She can stay here temporary till we found her a place. But truthfully, in Florida, where am I going to find a place she can afford?
I know. It's going to be tough. Very tough. We're going to wrap things up today, or
Are you done?
yeah, doesn't look like we have. Anyway, I really enjoyed porch sitting with y'all today. It was a nice break. Thank you, to be honest. And then, like I say, December 7th is the next spot on your calendar that you need to be aware of. Like I said, do yourself a favor. If you're already on Medicare, go ahead and review your plan with your broker. I'd be more than happy to do it. Doesn't mean you have to switch to me or anything like that. And if you're new, coming up to 65, I would say a year out is not too early to start having a discussion about
Jerry, they'll
what your
put your
needs
phone
are.
number and email on there towards
Great.
the bottom right there.
Thank you. But yeah, if I don't answer, leave a message. But I pretty much stay on that about 16 hours a day during this time. So I love what I do. So hopefully I can meet some of you and help you out.
Just give him a call.
Yep.
He'll come to your house.
And thank you, Skip, for having me.
Ain't no problem.
The iPad worked well.
Yeah, so far. I mean, I'm getting used to the new iPad. Yeah, it works well. There's just a couple extra things. That's why I had to start the stream over. There was one thing I forgot to do, and you can't go back in once you set it up, so I had to. Anyway,
Good.
It is what it is.
All right. And don't leave your keys in the golf cart.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't leave your keys in the golf cart. Every news you read it all the time about some of these nutballs that live around here that comes in. Don't leave your garage door open late at night. I can't believe how many times I drive down the road and I'll see garage doors 9 o'clock at night wide open. First of all, snakes will crawl in there.
Yep.
And it's very possible certain times of year, alligators could go in there.
Yep.
There's the people next door that you help right there.
Yeah. Oh, all right. We're good. Well
And he
said.
had the insurance, right, where they said you can't have it in Florida or something. Wouldn't transfer. And you took care of that.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, this guy knows things.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to coordinate. Like he had his employer's benefit for years. You just have to coordinate previous
And you help Linda.
help Linda and Frank.
I love that. I love that everybody calls him Frank.
Yeah, Linda and Frank. And
Did I tell you the story real quick? We were out eating dinner one day, and Linda and Judy was with it. It might have been at a Patreon lunch. I'm not sure. But we were sitting there talking, and she was talking about Frank, and she kept saying Frank. Well, I called Frank. Well, Frank's getting some things done today. And she looked, she goes, dang it. So you got me calling him Frank.
oh, that's funny.
All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Thanks,
Yep.
moderators.
Have a good
Appreciate
day.
everybody.
Enjoy the beautiful weather if you can. Get
Appreciate all the
outside.
super chats, super stickers, and
No-
all the moderators. We'll
no
see you next
rain.
time.